Has school started? Are the kids there with
They
their
moving
snot
in.
noses?
Yeah, some of them already started moving in. So some of them are here. They started moving in yesterday, and then the full run of the children will be on Wednesday.
Bless their hearts. Oh, what a magical time. Taking your
Mm,
dirty behinds from one place to another. Mm,
I mean, truly.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The magic of moving away to college. We should do an episode about college and our
Oh,
experiences and
oh
also
yeah.
some of our opinions. Because I have noticed, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just me and my old self. But I've always felt a way about seeing the videos of the people who are like, I applied to 25 different colleges. Who has application money like that? I applied to
Right.
4, which
Uh,
25. But then I'm like, well, maybe they got their application fees waived. I don't know. But also, are you just that indecisive? I have questions. They might not even be opinions. I have questions.
mm.
Um, but yeah.
Oh well, season 2.
Season
Ask a Gen
2.
Z. Is it Gen Z or Gen X?
I don't know. I just say older
Gen
millennial.
Z.
Or I guess we're not older millennials. We're millennials.
Oh yeah,
But
we
is
like.
that's Gen Z? We're not Gen Z.
No, I think they're after us.
They are. It's the people now with all the
Yeah.
feelings
hmm
who aren't afraid to express them. Shout
Like,
outs
oh,
to y'all. You know who you are.
listen.
I think are we Gen Y?
No, we're millennials.
But isn't millennial the same as Gen Y?
Oh,
Or is there some overlap? We were
I
around when
think
the first time they thought the world was gonna end in 2000 with
the first
computers not
world,
being able to
we've
read
been
time.
around two world endings
Two world endings.
because it was that, and then 2012.
Oh yeah. Yes,
You
and I
know,
was fully conscious for that one.
yeah, right, and scared.
Well, I wasn't scared. I was in Peru. Yeah.
Oh, so well,
Mm.
I, you know, I live with my existential dread always
Mm,
on my sleeve.
that's
So
fun.
that was very I was quite nervous. And I remember, and I was an adult, so there's really no excuse. I remember making the connection to Barack Obama being elected and being like, his last term, like year will be in 2012. That must be the tall coming to an end. A black
Mm.
man running this country.
Right, because if it's not the prophecies, then the white people gonna burn this place down. That's
Exactly
I
my
see where you
thought.
were going. I see where you
Yep,
were going.
that's where my brain was.
So with that, let's call this like it's not even a preview because this is not going to show up in the episode, but let's go ahead and officially start the podcast.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
this
cut
is
that and put that in the front before the intro.
amazing opening,
We're gonna keep this content.
Instagram content because y'all know we
Yeah.
are nothing if not inconsistent with that.
Maybe next season. So
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Okay.
Hey fam, it's Gantt
And Jade.
and welcome to this week's episode of the Good Black Podcast.
So what's been going on? How are you?
I work.
Oh.
I am work and I am at work and work is at me. And that is what's going on. So many formal public apologies for the delay in episodes. I definitely missed last week because I work and capitalism has a firm grip. It keeps its boot upon my neck. And and I stay at its beck and call.
I mean, needs have to be met. Shelter is a thing. This country does not do well with people who don't have some source of income. They don't see us as valuable. So, you do what you got to do. Season 2, we won't be doing all this apologizing. You don't get the episodes when you get the episodes.
Child, listen, that was more
I feel like it was every other episode, one of us is apologizing to the other person for like, my bad. I forgot. We're
You're
not
right.
doing all this apologizing.
You're right. You're right. Yes, America has tricked us into believing that we should have everything at the time that we want it and the way that we desire to have it. And I have realized how much of a failure that is for us, because it really enables you to have a thought process that says that I should be able to have strawberries in November, even though that's out of season. Like, that's such a basic thing, but that's such a big that is such a basic thing, but it is something that is actually significant the more you think about it. Like, us having things that are not in season. Like, I remember going to other places, countries specifically, like, where they don't do that. You get whatever it is that's in season when it's in season, and if it's not in season, you don't have it. It's such a changing of the guards, I guess, like, mentally, of realizing, like, oh, so we're not actually supposed to. The earth doesn't say you're supposed to have these things at this time. And then the realization that, yeah, you can't always have everything that you want anytime, and if you do, that's probably not a natural way of getting it. So
Right. It's the sowing of the things and the reaping of the harvest, or the
right.
plucking from the ground. I don't know. I
Well,
hear
yeah,
you.
how
Yes.
that works, yes.
Yes. You're not supposed to sow and reap on the same day or
That's right.
things.
So episodes when you get them.
Mhm. Ultimately, this is what we're saying.
Yes. So yes, how about you? How are things going? What's up with you?
Things are okay. Things are pretty good. I went on vacation, so yeah, I was in one of our modern colonies for a couple days, aka a territory, aka
Mhm.
St. Croix, aka US Virgin Islands. Was there for a couple days with two of my really good best friends, two of my best friends, because you don't have to say really good and best friends. That's two of my best friends.
Yeah,
On the way back though, I mean, so I feel like I can never just go away and not have something happen.
of course.
Um, so the getting there was interesting, the being there was interesting. Um, the coming back was really interesting. I'm not gonna go into details on any of these things. American Airlines though, y'all got some nerve. Yeah, I've been back and just continuing to do some more self-examination. I have, I'm still enjoying my time off from birth work, like attending births. I'm still doing stuff, but
Mhm.
enjoying my time off from attending births. My clients, I've had a couple clients send me gifts and they're like, sorry, this is so
Aw.
late. You're fine. You've been busy. I'm good. Also, this is so unexpected. Like, it's always just a nice treat to know that folks are thinking of me and they, want to send a little thank you. So
Yeah.
got some new pictures, got some new thank you cards. Yeah, I got some really nice stuff, really nice stuff. So that's always a pleasure. But yeah, I've just been enjoying my time away and like doing some design stuff for the business to focus on those finer details. And I think I have figured out my packaging structure for 2022. There are going to be some changes. I had to sit and like think and meditate on some stuff. And I think this is the
Mm,
direction I want to go into. So we'll see. If not, people will tell me and then I'll just change it because I can do that. So yeah.
mm. I love the sound of that. Like, sitting and pondering on packaging and that sort of thing. Like, that's super dope. I'm going to periodically, you know, um, stan you in your business works.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Yeah.
yes. Okay. Well, that is it for checking in, and we can slide over here to the scroll.
Okay.
Oh, these people just grow up. Life just comes at you so fast.
Well,
One
yeah,
of
let's talk about that actually. I mean, one of the things, so it's back to school time.
it is.
I always appreciate seeing the children in their first day outfits. I'm sending lots of prayers to the parents and children and the teachers and teachers' assistants and anyone else working in a school or working for a school that is having to return in person. Although it's really exciting, although for some people this is like a for parents specifically, it might be like really welcome break because you're having to juggle all of the different things at the same time within one household.
Yeah.
Um, as an outsider, it is a little scary. It's a little scary. So I hope everyone continues to remain well, is masked, is, you taught your babies how to wash their hands properly so that they are able to like participate in that type of prevention. Social distancing, I don't know if that's necessarily a thing, especially with the smaller ones. I was driving home and saw, I guess they were preschool class, and they were crossing the street with their teachers, and they had the little, the rope with the little loops, and you hold on to the loops. I was like, that is not 6 feet. It's not 6 feet. Um, but you know, I just, yeah, so really hoping that parents, students, teachers, uh not hospital staff, school staff are able to do what they need to do to take care of themselves. And I also hope that these school boards are looking out for your best interests as well. This last year, I don't know, man. I don't know, but once again, I'm an outsider looking in. So just prayers out to everyone for that.
So yes, I don't have children at I'm obviously at an institution. I have adults, but they are, I mean, I feel like, you are a senior teenager from
Hmm.
from 19 to 21. You're just like a junior adult. I
I
don't know how to
mean,
describe it.
19 to 25 for real, for real.
If you want to be honest about it, I was giving grace. But and I feel like it's fair to say that because I was that age. Like it's
Hmm.
not coming from a place of like older person cynicism. Like it's just the reality that at that age you are it's a very precarious time because you think you know everything but you don't know
Hmm.
anything. And I think encouraging folks to kind of sit in that space. But anyway, yes, as they come back, I'm having lots of anxiety. We are definitely going back to full capacity in the residence halls, and that
Mm,
is that's very nerve-wracking because cases are like just on the rise of all rises.
yeah.
And the young people, and I think this is American people in general, right? So I don't want to specify like younger people, American people in general, overall at large, like they only see the immediate comfort as the thing that is priority.
Yeah.
And so they immediately saw like, oh, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. And all they saw was you don't have to wear a mask.
I never thought that was true. I
I
never,
would
I was like, that's not what that says. That
all the
says,
information. It's the the very large sum of information for me that would have told me that that was not true vaccination. Not so like
but yeah,
you
that
need to
is
wear.
how people were acting. I was just like, oh, this is what y'all think that means? Okay, cool. And yeah, breakthrough
Right,
cases are rare, but rare doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Rare
right,
does not mean it doesn't happen.
right. And so my partner wasn't
Wow.
feeling great the last couple of days, just having like some
Hmm.
body aches and stuff. So they were like, okay, let me go and she said, yeah, let me go and go to like an immediate care, place and like kind of get checked out and see what's going on. So she did another testing, a rapid test, and she said that the doctor told her, he's like, yeah, we actually have more people who are vaccinated come back positive than those who are not.
Hmm.
So do with that what you will.
Hmm.
And even though they had already tested, they did like a rapid test, and so she came back negative. He was like, okay, we're going to do another form of a test that'll take a little bit longer, but just in case you can get a false negative, like
Hmm.
so yes, please, get tested, stay safe. Like, the
Hmm.
mask is not always super fun, but just give yourself a couple seconds of freedom, pull it away from your face, get you a deep breath, and then keep trucking. Like,
Yeah.
I've been doing presentations all the last 2 weeks with a mask on. So I know that it's not convenient, it's not fun, and it ain't that bad. Put the
Yeah.
daggone mask on. And Evelyn from the internet did an amazing illustration of
I
what
love
actually.
Evelyn.
I love Evelyn. We love her. Like late last year, she did a really great illustration of like essentially what what happens to in order to like catch the coronavirus. And she says, yes, she's like, it's when molecules from someone else's breath and air get onto your nose and mouth and into your nose and mouth. And that's essentially what happens. And don't nobody want that. Put your mask on.
Put your mask on.
So it's like, even if it's not the coronavirus that you're protecting yourself from, it's not a horrible idea to wear a mask, which is why like it wasn't completely foreign to me when they first started suggesting that we wear them. Because living abroad, like because of like the pollen, the like high pollen count, and also like fine dust counts over in South Korea, they wear masks anyway. So just to kind of like keep themselves from getting sick and experiencing any harm. So that was
I really think that is going to be one of the things that I add to my travel kit, like moving forward. Because I always just, I mean, me being an American, horrible American sometimes, would see Asian folks in the airports and be like, why are they wearing a mask? Do they know something I don't? And that is true. There's stuff floating around the air all the time. With me wearing a mask this last year, I didn't really get sick because I'm not sucking in all your molecules.
I know where we got ours from. So we definitely had the vid, as Kev on stage would say, late last year, and it was not fun, but definitely did not have as bad a time as some other people I know and have experienced it. So for those of y'all who are still having a hard time like adjusting to life with the mask on, it's because you haven't been wearing your mask enough. That's why you're having a hard time adjusting. Put it on and send your children to school with it on. Just wash your hands. Do the things. Stay clean as much as possible, even if it's not COVID. Like you can also catch the flu.
So interesting segue to staying clean. Have you seen like white celebrities?
Don't.
But
because
I didn't see these interviews. I'm like, did somebody actually ask this question? Why are y'all telling on yourselves
this information that nobody needs to know?
Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know. Nobody cared until you told us. And then don't get mad at us for having a reaction because you said it out your mouth. I've since seen an infographic or a series of infographics
it's hilarious.
about how to properly wash yourselves. You brought this on yourselves. Why are you volunteering this information? I feel like they're not the only ones to be lax on their hygiene habits, especially right now, because folks, they're like, well, I'm not sweating as much. I'm not going out. It's just us. But guess what's the difference between you and these regular people? They're not volunteering the information. So now you just seem, I don't want to say dirty. That seems judgmental, but you seem dirty. You are painting this picture for us. And I'm just like, you didn't have to tell us this information at all. I guarantee you this was not a question that this interviewer asked you. What? How did we get here? How?
So, all right. So scroll on. Anything else you've seen in the feed that you want to talk about?
I mean, I think the next piece, we're going to get into it with Family Feud. It really is this other post that I saw that I'm going to save for Family Feud. So.
All right. Feud we go.
Okay.
What's up, listeners? It's Gantt from the Good Black Podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain it to you. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you don't have to do the legwork of finding your own hosting site. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So for this episode of the podcast and like this segment, Family Feud, one of the things, or the main thing that we wanted to talk about, because it's something that impacts both of our lives, but then I think just as part of the general or bigger American society. It's something that's really come into prominence over these last few years. It's hustle culture. Um, and so I we kind of ended off the scroll with me acknowledging that I saw this post recently. And so the post that I saw on Instagram, or actually no, it was on Facebook, it said, "Can we celebrate entrepreneurship without sneak dissing 9 to 5 working class people?" There's
Woo.
nothing like shaming someone for having a job, but then asking them to support you with their money so you don't have to go back to one. And I was just like, this is also where I'm at when it comes to hustle culture, but we wanted to have like a little bit of conversation. So to start off, like when it comes to your hustles, what do you have going on, Gant? How are you
I, you
participating in
know,
hustle culture?
I, you know what? I think I feel like for me, my most difficult time, my the thing that is most difficult for me to break away from specifically the idea of continuing to hustle, I think is just like working at my 9 to 5. Like, and my 9 to 5 is also unusual hours. So last night I worked until 11, so on a Saturday. And
Mhm,
so, just times of the year. But for me, it's like there is like this push, and my supervisor just kind of pushed back on me with this, um, and the idea that like, because he asked me something, and I said, I just wish there was more time in the day for me to get stuff done, and he's like, yes, and perhaps there shouldn't be more time for you to do work,
mhm,
at time that belongs to you, like continuing to give that away. And I was like, I mean, you are right. I think, and also like even the very idea like that you are supposed to like be in love with what you do.
mhm,
It's like, as aside from things that like, are actually passion projects, but like your work and the need to like actually love your work so that you're not always tired or always frustrated or always whatever the case might be. I am super challenged with that right now. Is like, because I do enjoy what I do, but it is also incredibly stressful. It is
mhm,
also a lot of work, and me kind of trying to unlearn the idea that in order to to be worthy or to be good at my job, like that I have to also be at work and on work all the time,
mhm,
in order to be productive and to be valuable in this space, is like, it's crazy. And I know hustle culture is like a little bit more specifically towards like entrepreneurship and like, always being on the grind and always working, but like it's the same thing. I just, it's in some ways it's worse because I just work for somebody else.
mhm.
At least, for the entrepreneurs, like you're working for yourself and potentially for your own, goals and visions. But yeah, so but I don't have a lot of hyphens right now, kind of just a podcast host. And also, but I'm trying to add to them, but I also am like, why? Because I need to make money, and I need more money than I have so that I can be comfortable.
Yeah. And I think, well, so when it comes to people being multi-hyphenates, and then I was watching something, I don't know if you oh, it was on YouTube. There's a page or a channel called Jubilee, and they have these
Mm,
spectrums. And so one of them was about OnlyFans content creators, and one of the people there was saying that her OnlyFans was just one of 14 streams of income that she has.
mm,
And I heard that and I was like, good for her for diversifying her streams of income.
yeah,
And also, how tiring must that be?
right.
And so, I mean, this person did not go into the details of their finances or their living situation, but I'm like, how tiring it must that be? And how much of that is just so that this person can live and cover the basic necessities? And I feel like that's a part of why people in hustle culture have to grind so hard. Like a part of it is passion, like not gonna deny that, but then also they gotta hustle hard because if you don't, and this is why I'm not, this is why I know my business will only go so far. If you don't, that means you're not bringing clients in the door, which means you're not getting income, which means you can't cover your basic living expenses
Hmm.
because of how things are set up in this country.
Yeah,
Um, and so, yeah, people grind to the bone, literally,
yeah.
just so that they can make ends meet and have a decent place to live and have decent things that they are able to, bring into their home. And that's not even getting into like quality of life. Like, okay, it's one thing to, have the basics covered and the bottom of the, well, actually, I'm not going to reference that because I think that's kind of problematic. But it's one thing to have like the basics covered, like
Mhm.
shelter, food, all that stuff. But
Right.
then it's another thing to like, okay, so outside of that, what else? How are you deriving additional pleasures or pleasure in general in your life outside of these basic needs?
Yeah.
Because that's also important. But yeah, people be out here hustling. I don't have that kind of, well, not to say I don't have that kind of spirit. If it needed to happen, it would happen. But
Mhm.
that is not how I choose to live my life
Yeah.
in this current moment.
Yeah.
Um, but like the post said, can we, entrepreneurship is valuable. Also working a 9 to 5, working to help other people achieve their dreams or feeding into another mission that you also believe in is also very valuable. So stop shaming people
Right.
for wanting to continue on a 9 to 5 or a full time or, not participating in gig work in the same way that you do, because we're also your clientele. You need
Mhm.
us, we also need you. And so, like, just because I want to keep my 9 to 5 doesn't make me any less than, doesn't mean I'm, less woke than you. Um,
Mhm.
because if I can only speak for me, I am aligning myself with organizations, with, institutions that are trying to do some good, that have a mission that I believe in, and that is where I want to fuel my energy for the time being. But yeah, I've always felt a way about folks being like, "Oh man, y'all need to quit your 9 to 5, you slaves, da 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 da." Well, wait, how
Mhm.
did we get here? What did I do to you?
Yeah.
I'm living my life over here trying to pay my bills just like you are. And because it happens to manifest in a specific way, I automatically don't have dreams of my own because I'm
Right.
I'm helping someone else or an organization that's bigger than me, like build into the social impact and the dreams of others. That's not what that means.
Yeah.
Social media is funny though. It's funny and
Mhm.
funky because
Mhm.
that's the type of rhetoric that it'll elevate and have you out here feeling bad for yourself.
Yeah. And even if it's in the case of kind of like a rage, like posting or sharing, right? Because you still share like, impactful information. I think one of the things I think of the most about social media is like the usual differentiation between like the number of likes and then the comment section. Like,
Mhm.
so you'll see something with like, wherever, whatever platform you're on, you can see something with like, you know 5,000, 6,000 likes. I'll say, to keep it, minimal. And then it has like, 100 comments. And it's like, that's a very significant difference. So it's like, it's also important to be able to look at the number of people that liked it and kept moving versus the number of people that actually engaged with the commentary or with whatever the post, was stating. So it's also important to kind of like to be able to contextualize your own thoughts by looking at comment sections of things and seeing like, do people actually agree with this, or are people just kind of like posting it because like, they're angry at the poster and they want you to be mad too. Like, what is the
Mhm.
context around which this was shared? But away from that specific away from that kind of more general point to the specifics of like, sharing things that are like, that are ugly and shaming to people whose intention is just like, all I'm trying to do is feed my family and be able to get ice cream on the weekends. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm okay with that. I
I'm
think you
okay
also
with
have
that.
yeah, you have to also look at people's intentions and like what people's desires are. Because if people are not motivated by the desire to gain like an excessive amount of money, then no, they're probably not going to go into the depths of being like, oh, I'm going to work every single hour of the day because that's what I want to do. That's what I
Mhm.
desire to do. Some people are like, no, like I work 9 to 5, and when that is over, I go home with my family. Or when that is
Yep.
over, I go home and get me a drink,
Yep.
or that's over, I go home and I hug my cat, whatever the case might be. there are people who just desire to do that. They're okay with that. And there is nothing wrong
There's
with that,
nothing wrong with that.
because life is hard enough without other people who are also doing life telling you that you're doing it incorrectly,
Right.
which is like a large, issue that I find with, like, I wouldn't say most motivational speakers, but like, people who like, who I think they, cover their career under the guise of motivational speaking, but some
Mm,
people are genuinely just trying to get you to live in a way that they deem appropriate, which to
mm-hmm.
me is not necessarily, that shouldn't be the goal.
Right.
Like, your goal should be able to, I guess, maybe just find other people who are like-minded, and then, kind of like share your own story and your own, inspirations. But I think people misuse that, the ability to do that with just like telling other people what to do and how to do it and how to have the life of your dreams, and how to do this, how to be a girl boss, and and all these things. And it's just like, those things don't really account for, first of all, human difference,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't account for, difference in perspectives. Like, there's a different way to do everything. Like, I could get to $1 million, and Rihanna gets to $1 million in a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
um and there are different ways to do that, just like you were mentioning, like the other person who mentioned that they have, like, all of these, many different streams of income. Like, there are some people who do all of that, and there are some people who make one business, and they
And that's
sold,
it. Yeah.
made their fortune off it, and went to live at peace, and never did this entrepreneurial thing again. So, and again, just it just goes back around to, like, what are your actual goals? What do you actually want out of your life? Like, what is it that you're trying to get? And then, looking at the ways in which to get that, which is like, either your ways might be, oh, all I have to do is go to college and get a job. For some
Mm-hmm.
people, that's the thing, and that's all they desire. Some people needs to be like, oh, I'm going to get a trade, and I'm going to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
And please go tell your
Please,
children to go get them a
please.
trade, because we
Right.
need to fix air conditioners, we need people to put in carpet, we need people to build furniture, we need people to do
Yep.
welding, we need all of those things. And there's not only one way to get to the bag and get to a life that you love. People just love, like, going and in welding. Some people love that. That's like
Yeah.
a relief for them. And then there are some people who love going and creating, like, curriculum for a 500, for a Fortune 500 company. They love to create the educational process on how you train these people, and then going about their business at the end of the day. And then there are some
Right.
people who, I love to create, I love to work, so I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to create 12 businesses. None of those things are
None of those
wrong.
things are wrong.
It's just,
There's
a matter of what you need and what you want to do.
Yeah, there are so many ways to arrive at happiness, and you are the person that gets to define that. You are the person that gets to define what success is. And your way, your path is not going to look like someone else's. Y'all can have
Yeah.
some of the same inputs as far as like business ideas, maybe even some of the same investors. It's not going to look the same because you're two individual people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I kind of wanted to branch off and touch on that you you talked about a little, and I want us to explore a little bit more. So there are folks who might have a 9 to 5 or not. Like, this is more about hobbies in general, but there are folks who might be working a 9 to 5. It doesn't mean that they're any less fulfilled. It also could mean that maybe they have hobbies. And so, like, when it comes to hustle culture versus hobbies, what, maybe not where is the line, because I know that's going to be different for everyone, but when did we move away from like just participating in things because we enjoy it versus always trying to make money from stuff? And so I know that sounds really general.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not, because I mean, we can't necessarily play around and like nuance and specifics, but as like looking at social media, it always looks like if you're not doing something to make money, then
Yeah.
you wasting time. And
Yeah.
that's what happened to hobbies. Where are folks at with hobbies? Do you have hobbies that, are things that you like to do maybe for yourself or even just for others where you're not expecting to for that to be your cash cow?
Mhm.
And so that's one of the things that came up while you were speaking just now, but I'm like, huh, where did we go with that?
So yeah, definitely. And so two things with that, like that it makes me think of. The first thing is that I was watching I was watching our fave, the Great British Baking Show
Yes.
last night. and there was this older man who they made the story of on the show, and he's like, and they were saying, Paul has retired and now he's into his passions of baking and I think he was like a cellist or something like that.
Hmm.
And so I was like, that is crazy to think that, like, people are really, first of all, they're celebrating, like, this man is like, he's old. And not that, not that a bad thing, like, he was still having a good time. I'm sure he was enjoying his life. And
Mhm.
like that he was required to work the entirety of his, I would say like prime years away. And then after he's given all of these things to society, and after he's given all his life force, sold his time and
Right.
his
That's
energy.
when he can go play with his little pots and pans and
Mhm.
make bread.
Exactly. Now you can go and play the instruments in your living room. Now you can go and, like, and start experimenting with baking. And to me, like, I don't want to say that's crazy, but like that's just
I don't
very,
want to wait. I
yes,
don't
I
want to
don't
put
want
my
to wait.
life on pause
Right.
for like it. I just feel like that can further enrich your life. And so it's one thing to like not know that you enjoy this until much later on in life, but it's
Yeah.
another thing to like have to consciously be like, you know what, I can't dedicate as much time to this as I would like to, or I remember loving this, whatever happened, oh yeah, I had to work, I had to provide, I had to
Yeah.
do X, I had to be quote unquote responsible, as
Oh,
if having a hobby makes you irresponsible,
yeah.
as if like these are things that we used to do as children. We
Mhm.
had hobbies, we played, we tapped into our imaginations, but then when we want to bring those things back out, I don't know, it makes me
Yeah.
a little sad to realize that this is how some folks are thinking about things.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and in some ways, like, I feel like, especially with Americans, like, everything kind of conditions you to have that expectation of your life as an adult, right? So like I was just thinking, like, as you were saying that, I was thinking about like the episode of Rugrats where, like, I think it was Angelica who, like, she in her mind becomes like a business person or whatever, I don't know, like
Mm-hmm.
she feels like she's older and she's like, I can't now, I got sponsorabilities. And it's
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
can't, it's like it's telling you, like, you can't have joy because you have to be responsible.
Right.
And it's I'm sure, like, the end goal of that was to kind of like incorporate, fun and joy into your adult life, but it's like, but how? Nobody tells you how to do that and how to kind of get to that. And then also, like, the very idea that the things that you do enjoy, it's like, oh yes, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And it's like, first of all, that's a lie,
That's a
because
lie. It's still
things that you
work.
love are still work.
Right.
Like, even if you love them, they are still work.
Yep.
um Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. People drive crazily in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So yeah, things that you love can still be work. And the other thing that I was going to say initially was that my mom, like, my mom bakes. And
Yes.
so, like, I
Oh,
think there was,
yes.
yes she does.
Mm,
And so there was Jade has closed her eyes
mm.
and she's having a
Because I love
little.
my auntie's cakes. They're just so amazing.
Yes. So yeah, so she bakes. And there was a period of time, I think after she quit her job, where, like, we were kind of like, yeah, you should, like, you should make this like a company, like you should like sell this, like you should make this like a business. And we kind of like, tried to kind of push that, but she was never really for it. And she has, like, had, like, friends go on to do kind of like similar work and, like, baking and, like, making a business out of it. And she has never, like, really felt the inclination to do that. And she's just always, very clearly said, like, this is something that I love to do and I don't desire to make money off of it. Like,
Mhm.
this is something that I love to do. And the moment that I start making money off of it, I likely will not enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep this as a thing that I do. If people ask me, I would absolutely be more than willing to, like, to do this thing for you. And she will do it and not get paid. And she did, or not ask for payment, I guess I should say.
Mhm.
Because people more often than not, like, try to give her something, or pay her for it. But she definitely does that. And, like, while I love and respect that, she got a husband who paying for the things. So, you know, like it's different for, for most people. They're like, hey, I still got bills to pay, and ain't nobody
Mm-hmm.
paying them but me.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird place to be in, right? Because like there's a mandate of being able to take care of yourself and being able to manage your own affairs. But then there's also this, internally is like, if I'm going to work, I want to work doing something that I actually love and that I won't get tired of. And that's a difficult thing to find. Like there's
Yeah.
very few things that you are going to find because you do these things because you have to do them.
Right.
It's even if you were to say like, oh, well, I'm really passionate about making bracelets, you would still be making bracelets because you have to make rent. You would still be
Mm-hmm.
making bracelets because you have to pay insurance, whatever the case might be. And arguably it's more difficult to do those things as a, like, as a single, as a person who is like a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
and to do that exclusively, because you also need health insurance. You also need, like, coverage of things, like also even more so than that, like as a business owner, like there's like liabilities depending on what kind of
Mm-hmm.
business it is that you own. So like it's almost inescapable, like the idea of like, that you have to work incredibly hard in order to have anything that you value. Because if you work for somebody else, they're not going to really pay you as much as you deserve, because nobody
Right.
can pay you your worth. I firmly believe that. Shout out to Pastor Mark Baker, taught me that very long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the jobs can't pay you what you are actually worth. They cannot afford you. And if you work for yourself, it's like you overinvest in time, that takes away from your ability to kind of be focused and present in your life,
Yes.
in a way that benefits you to having, like, a life that you love. Not that you don't have the money in order to do those things, but it's like, now I don't have the time.
Right. You're hustling so hard.
Yeah.
And so when people ask me, like, am I ever going to leave my full-time job to be a doula full-time? My answer currently is no. I do enjoy what I do. I'm not going to say like I'm passionate about it. I enjoy what I do. I see value in it. I see it as driving towards a larger thing. I'm talking about my full-time work. And so
Mhm.
that's fine for me. I also, quiet as it's kept, I enjoy my team. Don't tell them I told you this. They're cool or whatever. And I respect and enjoy for the most part, the organization that I work for. Um, if I were to become a full-time birth worker, I see how my colleagues in this field, they're always on the go. They are always on call. They are always in a meeting. They're always talking to somebody. And that's a lot of energy exchange. I just don't have that in me. Like,
Yeah.
once again, if I had to, if that is the hand that I am dealt, then of course I would figure it out like I've done with several things in the past. You figure it out and you get the job done. But s- since we are talking about a situation where this is my choice, I am choosing not to have to hustle so hard in order to drum up clients, in order to follow through with folks.
Mhm.
And for that, I see the personal exchange in my life being I am able to go on vacation. I am able to
Mhm.
take 3 months off from attending births so I can just reset and
Yeah.
reground and take care of stuff around my house. I am able to get like a really good night's sleep because I'm not worried about, okay, I got some overlapping due dates. I
Yeah.
am able to still enjoy being a birth worker because I can be selective about where my energy is being placed. I have the means and funds to take trainings to still be in community with folks, but it's not overtaxing in a way that I know it might be, which could has a very real potential implication of sucking the passion out of me. I got into this work and first and foremost did not actually anticipate that I would get paid a lot from it. Like
Mm.
I knew that going in. If anything, I got into this work with that mindset. So the fact that I am getting paid for it, it is a very nice bonus.
Yeah.
Um and like how I have set things up in my life, I think this will give me the longevity that I don't always see in other folks who are stepping into this work and like fully taking stock of what it means to be a birth worker, what it means to be a doula. Um, And so for me, setting myself up in this way, I hope to be around. I hope this is like I'm thinking of this as my sustainability plan and
Mhm.
also something that can keep the passion burning and going. And so it's a little bit more than a hobby, but I don't think it's a full-blown hustle. Um, but yeah, like if given the choice, I would not do birth work full time because I want to continue to see it the way I see it now.
Mhm.
Um, if I had another point that I was gonna make, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, it's okay. That happens to me all the
Yeah.
time.
So yeah. Oh, the other thing is, so another question I get asked, and I was actually asked this recently. Um, or not even asked, it's assumed that like I'm going to turn my business into like a mini empire or basically an
Oh
agency
yeah.
and bring on other doulas. That is also not the move I'm trying to make because that is also more energy. That is also bigger than where I'm looking to be in this present moment. Now,
Yeah.
things might change in the future. Things could
Right.
absolutely change, and I'm leaving space for that. But once again, if given the choice, my choice is not to turn this into an agency and having a whole bunch of doulas under me and
Yeah.
like managing not only them but then also clients and then having my own clients to attend to. There are people out there who have taken a hold of that type of business model and do an amazing job at that, and I thank them for it. um, I don't think that's where I want to be or where I need to be. And like if people want mentorship, that's one thing, but for you to fly under my banner, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's not the type of expansion I am looking for. And once again, that seems like it has for me has a very real implications to suck the life out of what I find to still be very enjoyable. But
Mhm.
it's because I'm able to do this on my own terms. And maybe that's the big part of it. Like doing it on your own terms helps you to keep the passion, even if you are getting paid for it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, and I think that that's an important thing for folks to like really actually take in this understanding. And specifically, I mean, like obviously it is our context, it is our American context, in this space, right? um but really take that into account and be like, hey, I don't actually need to have all the pieces of this, of my life be something that I make money off of. I can just exist in this space. It doesn't have to be anything more than what I desire for it to be right now, which is just, which is just a moment. Like if it's an escape, then let it be an escape, and that is okay. That's enough. um
But once again, fully recognizing that because we live in a capitalist society, that like sometimes that drive and that hustle has to be there so that you
Mhm.
can make ends meet. And
Yeah.
so also thinking like, are we saying this because we are sitting in a place of privilege?
Yeah.
Like hobbies are cute and not making money from hobbies is cute, but for the person who really needs to get food on that table, is that really is that a feasible option for you? And
Mhm.
so like if that's where you feel like you sit, find other things that bring you joy. That would be my that would be my note for y'all. Find other things that bring you joy. Um, because our life, in my opinion, our lives should be so much more than work.
Yeah.
And
And I
like,
totally agree with
yeah.
that. I would absolutely say the exact same thing. I understand the need, and you know, having things that just simply bring you joy, and that is the only reason that they're around, is important as well as making money.
Mhm. I have a good pole friend who had a business, and I remember it's been within the last 6 months she made an announcement that she was, closing down her business or letting some stuff go. And she talked about just the hustle of it all and, the passion and feeling like she was kind of pushed into the direction of being an entrepreneur, even
Mhm.
though deep down she was like, well, I don't really want to do that. But feeling like she was kind of pushed into it by others or like pressured
Mhm.
into it by others. Cause it's kind of it also seems like there's this assumption like, oh, you're really good at this thing. So yeah, you have, like you said with your mom, like you should be making money from this.
Right,
Like
right.
that's the natural progression of how things should go.
Mhm.
But I remember in her post, and I think I hit her up afterwards, and I told her that I was proud of her for like speaking her truth. It just seemed like it was so freeing for her to be able to recognize what her truth was and to let stuff go that really was not serving her and added a little bit too much to what she was trying to do. Like maybe too much pressure, maybe too much stress, maybe it was just sucking a little bit too much life out of what she really enjoyed. That person is now going to be opening a dance studio, which I was like, that makes sense. That makes
Mhm.
so much sense for you. This is, yes, applauding. Um, but yeah, so I wonder, like, in the coming years, if we're going to see more announcements from people who are like, you know what, I felt pressured into doing this. It was cool. I learned some lessons. And also, this isn't serving me like I thought it would. This
Yeah.
is where I'm at a new place in my life. And, I want to find the other things that make me happy, that maybe don't involve capitalizing off of one of my passions. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interested
I'm
to see
sure
how this
we
plays out.
Yeah, I'm sure the more that we develop, and I think we're having more conversations like this, like in total, like kind of like the culture at large, um, because people are like actually at a place of like discovering, reparenting yourselves, like
Mhm.
therapy and all of that stuff, and really thinking more intentionally about our lives and thinking more intentionally about the lives that we want. Like I know for myself, like that's something that I'm thinking about, and I've said that a number of times on the show. But really thinking like, okay, like this is the life that I want. Why don't I have it? And what am I willing to do in order to get to that, to get to that space? And I think work is a huge place in which people are, having that thought. So yeah, definitely encourage people to, to think more about what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and then hopefully how to make those things meet, without working yourself to death either. Like in order to have them. And also, really being sure about what it is that you want, because we think we want something. And Kevin on Stage just said this recently on their podcast. I mean, here's the thing, but he
Which
was
actually, I'm gonna pause you right there. Why couldn't we have thought of unruly cousins before they did? I just that could have what? I
I
was like,
I
missed
I know,
opportunity.
missed opportunity, fumbled the bag,
Because we are
and
cousins. And sometimes we be unruly.
because
That is
we
us.
are literally cousins.
We are literally cousins.
Yes,
Ah,
we are the people, like, if we had more time together, like snickering at the back of the church and laughing,
yes,
together in appropriate
yes,
times and all that
yes.
stuff. So yeah, we missed an opportunity on that one. Actually, if Kev on Stage and Angel, that chick Angel, if y'all are listening, and Josh Gons as well, if y'all are listening and you would like to give us a show on the newly expanded Kev on Stage
Yes,
network,
yes.
we'll just take the Unruly Cousins moniker if
And
that's
we will fly with it. How about
absolutely.
that?
Or you can give the Good Black Podcast money, and we'll just bring it over to your platform. That's
That
fine.
too.
We are the other Unruly Cousins.
Every time they say that, I'm like, this man.
Yeah, man. Um, but dang, you made me forget what he said.
I'm sorry.
Oh well, I wasn't supposed to say it, but the offer still stands, Kev. So you need an Atlanta branch, a DC branch.
Mhm,
We are present to be talent, not
mhm.
to work to put it together. Because you know, hey, to be realistic with our time.
That's I come to recognize some things just are not my ministry,
Hmm.
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know what I fight. I think I've said a lot, but like being for me, like because I want to be confident in all things. I feel like it is a piece of my people pleasing that I haven't really gotten into yet. I want to be good at everything, and I think I take pride in being like, oh, like I can be a jack of all trades, but that leaves you a master of none. And I'm trying to, I'm trying to get on the mastery of things, and mastering things that are natural to me and not stuff that
Mm-hmm.
other people need me to be good at.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to figure that out, but I can't remember exactly what the Kev on Stage quote I was going to bring up was, but it's fine, I didn't need it. But yes, I want to, be more focused, and be more present in life without overworking myself. And I encourage our listeners to, to do the same. You don't have to overwork yourself in order to be valuable, in order to be worth the things that you desire to have in your life. And if if you are somebody who naturally has work on the brain all the time, I also encourage you to explore that. And what does that mean? And why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this inclination to be this way? And also stop shaming other people for not desiring to be that way,
Yeah.
because
I
maybe
just,
it's not normal.
I don't like, I just feel like certain people let life pass them by.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop. And by the time you look up, will you even be able to do certain things, like physically or mentally be able to do
Yeah.
certain things?
Yeah.
Or, are the loved ones even around to do the things with? I want people to enjoy their lives.
Yeah.
Um, and I know it's going to look different from the way I enjoy my life. And also, we were not put on this work. I wholeheartedly believe we were
Right.
not put on this work. We were not put on this earth to work as much as people think.
Yeah.
Um, and
Oh,
so, how can we carve out space and time to
yeah.
enjoy all that has been given to us, all that we've worked for? Like, you've
Hmm.
been working for a really long time. Are you actually enjoying what you work for? If the
Yeah.
answer is no, or you're not sure, then it might be time to sit down and think about some things. Boundaries are a real thing. And
Yeah.
when I one felt comfortable enough to exercise boundaries at my full-time job, because I'll also say some people are in situations where boundaries are not a thing because of how folks are choosing to lead their teams. And
Hmm.
that can be a whole other conversation that we can get into, especially with my own evolution as someone who leads teams.
Yeah.
um, but if you do not have a leader who believes in boundaries, who sees them as valuable, and not in an effort to make the institution more money, but just so you can, so you, because just so you can also have some type of fulfillment to your life outside of that place, like, might be time to have some conversations.
Yeah.
Some transformational leadership practices do need to be embedded into where you're at, but I digress. Yeah, I feel like boundaries can be a big thing, and like letting folks know once I'm off the clock, then that is it. And people, it's always so funny because people are like, people tell me of all people, oh, make sure you leave your work phone and don't you log in. I'm like, you don't got to worry about me logging in before it's time.
Yeah.
I took my PTO for a reason. I do not feel bad. I
Yeah.
don't feel bad. I'm
Yeah.
not in that space anymore where I feel bad about taking time off to care for self or
Hmm.
to be with my loved ones. I don't feel bad about that,
Yeah.
but I see that it is still deeply rooted in some of the other things that we're seeing. And so it does take folks a while to get to that space. But I am usually the cheerleader for boundaries and self care on my team. You're not going to catch me talking about, nope, you shouldn't do XYZ. Nope, you need to make sure you log in at least 12 hours before your next shift. You got the wrong one. Because I know what it has done for me, and I'm not going to, as best as I can, I'm not going to deny that for other people. There's so much more to life outside of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And yes, I do see this as important. Yes, I am mission driven. And Jade also has a life outside of this. Jade also has dreams and passions.
Yeah.
And Jade sometimes just wants to sit down and watch Great British Baking Show
Yes.
and Winnie the Pooh it up. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
no.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that is a great place to wrap hustle culture and slide on into our love letters. I'm always sliding into something, but that's fine.
Ooh, that's risque language.
That is, I didn't mean it that way, but that's the transition. That's the
Mhm.
transitional language that I usually use to go from one segment to another. Please, your minds out of the gutter.
So let's get into these love letters. Do you want to go first? Am I going first?
Oh, you go first.
Okay. So my love letter is really, I said this during the Family Feud. It's really about just not everything you do has to be turned into a money-making opportunity. I know money makes this society go round. I know money is necessary to cover basic needs. I know we are like quiet as it's kept. There's subliminal messaging where if you're not productive, you're not valuable. And that's false. That's a lie that they use to keep this capitalist society chugging along. But some of your passions can just be to make you happy. And so find what those are, tap into those. Sometimes when we attach transactional relationships to things we love, it really dampens our own relationship to it. And so I, implore you, I urge you to don't be so quick to attach a money making business plan development type opportunity to everything that you stumble upon that you're good at. Something can just be for you. Some things can help you keep going, to keep your light burning bright, to get you to the next day, week, month, year, whatever. They can just be for you or for your loved ones, or they can be hobbies. We can have hobbies and we can feel good about those because they also help when it comes to our self-care, our rebalancing, our recentering. And so you don't have to attach a transactional relationship to that. So that's really quick and easy. That's my love letter for this episode.
Nice. Thank you for that reminder. Mine is going to be short too. Desiring a life of rest is not bad, and desiring a life of family time and quality time is not bad. We I think a lot of times, because we get so wrapped up in doing life and doing the things that are required to maintain life, that we forget how fragile life is. If nothing else, 2020 really should have taught us the importance of having a life that you truly value. Am I muted?
Yes. No, you're not
No.
muted. I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that is yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that you truly value, that you truly appreciate, each day. Gratitude is such a big thing. And I think everything, gratitude has even been, I think, negatively stigmatized towards, be grateful for the job that you have, and be grateful for the money that you make, and be grateful for the things that you're able to do. And even that is like, well, yes, I can be grateful for, what I have, and also desire something different. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make me ungrateful. It just makes me knowledgeable that there is more to this life than working and gaining money and gaining things. There's absolutely value to other things, and you truly want to feel like at the end of your life you have lived, wherever that comes for you. So yes, you're living, and the value of your life does not have to be wrapped up in gaining things and gaining titles, experiences, money, whatever the case might be. Make sure that you have a life that you desire to have. Um, and one that you can actually be grateful for, because at the end of it, like, it mattered. The things that you did mattered. It doesn't matter, it won't matter when I'm done what job I've worked at, what my job titles were, whatever the case might be. I will not be wondering whether or not my supervisor thinks I did a good job on this thing when it's my time to go. I will be wondering if my family enjoyed me. I will be wondering if I was good to them, and I was good to the people that were around me. Those are the things in which I find value. So it's important for me to work on aligning my daily lived experiences with the things that I value. So I encourage us to do that, to align your life and the things that you do from day to day around the things you love, the things you value, and also just living a life of ease.
Mhm.
We deserve that. You deserve that. And I hope that more people hear that and really run with it. Not even specifically to hear it from us, because we ain't got that many listeners, but for those who do listen and who may be doubling back to listen to this, in years from now, you deserve to have a life that you actually love, and you don't have to run away from, every so often.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to find those moments of peace and joy and value building in your lives. And that's my love letter for this week.
Very nice. Well said. Final segment, favorite segment. My
Yeah.
favorite cousin.
You go first because I don't really know what mine is.
Okay. Cool. So my favorite cousin for this week is my best friend Ashley. Um, best friend Ashley in California. So I I love us for real. Because so much time can go past, but then one of us will call, the other one will answer, and we will have a 2 or 3 hour conversation as if, I mean, clearly time has gone by because we're catching up, but there's no love lost. We're always rooting for each other. It's just, I love our friendship. And we're actually next month, we'll make it a decade worth of friendship because this is a friend that I met in Peru. She was also a Peace Corps volunteer. So we met,
Hey.
yeah, we met just two black girls going as a Peace Corps.
Yeah.
We met well actually the first time I met her was during the period of time right before you actually leave the country with your group. And it's called staging. So I remember seeing her in staging and she looked stank. She had a stank face. And I
Okay.
was like, oh no. And she's light skinned. So I was like, oh no, is she
Oh no.
gonna be mean to me because I'm not light skinned? She looks a little stank in the face. Turns out that was not true. Turns out that was not true. And we just needed a little time to like come together and like get to know each other. But like and the reason I can tell the story my way is because this is my podcast. So Ashley, if you're listening, you can scream into the phone all you like to, but that is what happened from my point of view as far as the first time that we ever met. Um, but no, we quickly became friends. And then, in Peru, like as a Black volunteer, or in Peace Corps in general, as a Black volunteer, we got. So you stick together. But she has seen me through thick and thin, through joy and tears and divorce and moving. Like in my move out here, I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I actually drove back across country. So I drove out across country to get out to California, which is where I was living with my now ex-husband. When it was time for me to go, I packed up everything in my little 2008 Hyundai Elantra, including my cat. And Ashley was in there as well. And anything that did not fit in that car or the 3 boxes that I sent ahead on Amtrak, it got sold.
Mm.
And so we packed into my little car and we drove across country and we made a time of it. But I'm thankful for her friendship. I'm thankful for the recent phone call that I got with all of her amazing news. And my best friend is gonna be a doctor, y'all. And I'm
Oh,
so proud of her.
congratulations.
She's working on her doctorate. She's going to be a sexologist, which I'm like, this is wonderful. We are wonderfully
Okay.
made to be best friends, because of the line of work that we're doing slash going to be doing. But she's also going to be opening a business soon, which that was a new thing for me to hear. So like she's working on the physical space. It's a brick and mortar business. It's going to be dedicated to vaginal health and like pelvic. It's just so amazing. She is one of my best friends. She is so dope. I love to see her win. I love her so much. I love her. I love her. I love her. And I love her blackness. Like she goes so hard in the paint for our people. And I
Mhm.
appreciate that as well. And it's always been so unapologetic. Like before I knew that that was a thing that people were trying to tap into, Ashley personified like unapologetically Black.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I've always appreciated that. So shout out to her. She's my favorite cousin for the week. I love you, best friend Ashley out in California.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we love you, Ashley. We know I enjoy an Ashley or two. I have some Ashleys in my life that I
You
really.
met her. She was in a wedding.
Oh,
You might not remember. It's okay.
yeah, I do not remember. But shout out to you, Ashley. And we definitely need more Black women out there in the fields doing the work and really furthering, our people. So shout out to you. I don't know if I have a favorite cousin just yet. So my favorite cousin this week is Joy. Find
Hmm.
it, hold on to it. May you all have it. May you know it. May you hold on to it when you do, and may you make wise decisions to keep it.
Hmm.
I think that is. I think that's it.
I can get behind that. Joy is important.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all the stuff I got for this week. We listen. The episode names are gonna go off. I don't because we have said so many things. So we're gonna see what it turns out to be. But
Mm.
I hope you all loved it. Hope this was a useful conversation for you all. We hope you come back in the next time we have an episode. Because again, no promises on when that's gonna be. Hustle culture must die. And
Hustle culture is the reason we can't get an episode out on time. Blame
yeah,
hustle
that's
culture.
it. That's it. Right. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
see, if I didn't have to work so hard, I have all the episodes because this is not work to me. This is good times.
Well, that's good.
Outside of that, see all the other stuff, it is kind of work. So, but thank you all for listening. We appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves, love on yourselves, love on your families, and we will see y'all next time. Well, y'all will hear us next time. Why do I say that? Why do
I
I
don't
say
know.
we're gonna see y'all? Y'all not gonna see us, but you'll hear us.
I mean, yeah. That. Bye.
Bye.
Hey fam, want to join in on the conversation? Have a topic suggestion? Send us your thoughts at goodblackpodcast@gmail.com. That's GOODBLACKPODCAST@gmail.com. To support us, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, leave us voice messages on Anchor, share, just do all the things across all your favorite platforms. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Good Black Podcast.
Got sold. And so we packed into my little car and we drove across country and we made a time of it. But I'm thankful for her friendship. I'm thankful for the recent phone call that I got with all of her amazing news. And my best friend is gonna be a doctor, y'all. And I'm
Oh,
so proud of her.
congratulations.
She's working on her doctorate. She's going to be a sexologist, which I'm like, this is wonderful. We are wonderfully made to be best friends, because of the line of work that we're doing / going to be doing. But she's also going to be opening a business soon, which that was a new thing for me to hear. So like she's working on the physical space. It's a brick and mortar business. It's going to be dedicated to vaginal health and like pelvic. It's just so amazing. She is one of my best friends. She is so dope. I love to see her win. I love her so much. I love her. I love her. I love her. And I love her blackness. Like she goes so hard in the paint for our people. And I appreciate that as well. And it's always been so unapologetic. Like before I knew that that was a thing that people were trying to tap into, Ashley personified like unapologetically black. Um, and yeah, I've always appreciated that. So shout out to her. She's my favorite cousin for the week. I love you, best friend Ashley out in California.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we love you, Ashley. I enjoy an Ashley or two. I have some Ashleys in my life that
You met her. She was in a wedding.
Oh,
I now remember. It's okay.
yeah, I do not remember. But shout out to you, Ashley. And we definitely need more Black women out there in the fields doing the work and really furthering, our people. So shout out to you. I don't know if I have a favorite cousin just yet. So my favorite cousin this week is Joy. Find it, hold on to it. May you all have it. May you know it. May you hold on to it when you do, and may you make wise decisions to keep it. I think that's it.
I can get behind that. Joy is important.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all the stuff I got for this week. We listen. The episode names are gonna go off. I don't because we have said so many things. So we're gonna see what it turns out to be. But I hope you all loved it. Hope this was a useful conversation for you all. We hope you come back in the next time we have an episode. Because again, no promises on when that's gonna be. Hustle culture must die. And
hustle culture is the reason we can't get an episode out on time. Blame hustle culture.
That's it. That's it. Right. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
see, if I didn't have to work so hard, I have all the episodes because this is not work to me. This is good times.
Well, that's good.
You know, outside of that, see all the other stuff, it is kind of work. So, but thank you all for listening. We appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves, love on yourselves, love on your families, and we will see y'all next time. Well, y'all will hear us next time. Why do I say that? Why do I say we're gonna see y'all? Y'all not gonna see us, but you'll hear us.
I mean, yeah, that. Bye.
Bye.
Hey fam, want to join in on the conversation? Have a topic suggestion? Send us your thoughts at goodblackpodcast@gmail.com. That's GOODBLACKPODCAST@gmail.com. To support us, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, leave us voice messages on Anchor, share, just do all the things across all your favorite platforms. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Good Black Podcast.